Peace, family. I'm in my reds and I'm about to go ahead and break down this decoding. For all those who watched the movie, I'm sure it left your head puzzled, scratching, wondering what the hell did all of that mean that I just watched. I'm going to go and break down a few things that you may not know or understand, first of all, to even understand, create the observation. So it wasn't just the fact that she was thinking about something that she was prophesizing. It was the fact that her conscience was creating the moment, both that were in sync at the whole time. And if you remember, the woman that was living on top was a doppelganger. She was actually one of the reds from the lady that was living in the bottom. But the lady who's living in the bottom was the actual real human that was planning out things. So at the same time, she was orchestrating the life of the one who was on top. Now, if you look at it from different perspectives, like the Bible verse of Jeremiah 11:11, and it talks about basically we gonna do harm to them, but they're evil, so don't worry about them. You can look at that as well, and that also is talking about the children of Israel. Now, if you're talking about the children of Israel and you're talking about the true Jews and things of that nature, then you're talking about also those who have disguised themselves as the true children of Israel. And so if you look at that, that can go many different ways as far as the decoding of black people actually being the true children of Israel in reality, and that our destinies are also tethered with those of people in America. Now, listen, people, I'm giving my decoding, but this is like fresh off my head and a lot of frantic excitement, which I know a lot of master decoders is going to take their time, break down the movie, go through every occult symbolism and things of that nature. This is not one of them. This is just me giving my fresh perspective after seeing it, highlighting my excitement to let you know that I'm just giving my thoughts. Now, I thought interesting thing is that Jordan Peele did a great he did great at creating and highlighting some of the fears that we have, especially in the movie when they was faced off with the black family and they said that they was going to call the cops, and they said the cops was going to take 14 minutes. Now, of course, that 14 minutes was an homage to the 15 minutes where the actual holding hands across America actually took place, on May 25th back in, I believe it was the 60s. So that was, of course, an homage, but you have to also think about this. If they would have called the cops would have had to give them suspect renderings of individuals who look just like them, which also plays the fear on Black America. So if you think about it, they wouldn't have been able to call the cops because, the cops would have said, who did this? And they would have been like, well, it looked just like us. And so the idea, it makes you think about, was this family coming there to kill them to take their place? Or, because they could have definitely got away with it if they would have killed the black family and took their place. Now, I was thinking because the girl had already killed somebody, that it was more dangerous at that point for them to have actually the cops come on their behalf, because I was thinking the cops was just going to shoot everybody. So I was like, damn, don't call the cops. I hope the cops don't show up, because I was thinking somebody in the family might get killed or somebody in the family might get shot. Now, it was interesting when you look at the renderings of each individual and a doppelganger and what they represented as far as, their lower selves and those parts of themselves that they represented. You had the father who wanted in the inside to portray himself as a tough guy, and wanted to be the leader for the family. But in reality, he was just as scared as everybody else. But his doppelganger, of course, wasn't scared. His doppelganger was who he wanted to be on the inside. He was tough, he was fearless, and he just went after and did what he was supposed to do. Same thing with the little girl. Remember, she was the runner, and she also had sort of like a complex of she wanting to be the one that ran the family. And when it showed her that she wanted to be in a leadership position and things of that nature, so the mother of the doppelganger just told the little girl she can go, she did the little snap snap. She told the other little girl to run, right? And then she let the other little girl run after her. And that was kind of like her as a mother giving her that freedom to go do what she wanted to do. And so I thought that was interesting juxtaposition as far as playing on that. And also, when you think about the weapons that they had to use, the weapons that they had to use were more so like sports clubs, like a golf club. The other one was a bat. And things of that nature. And so I thought that that was monumentally important because one of the things that, you know, we use to come up in this world is sports. And but they did pick sports that are not particularly sports that's popular within the black community. And I'm talking about sports like, you know, golfing, you know, it's sports like, you know, baseball particularly as well. So I thought that was interesting. Now, let's get to some more of the good stuff, right? You know, if you look at parts of the movie, they definitely use all the classic black things that antagonizes the trauma of black people in America. They use rope, of course, and rope always has connotation towards lynching. They use what they call to use the tethering. They use chains. The chains were, of course, handcuffs that they use. They also use when they were sitting in the boat, they had the black guy sitting in the back of the boat, but he had the trash bag over his head. And when he peered out the eye to look outside the trash bag, it made him symbol and look sort of like a black Klansman. And so I thought those were different imageries that Jordan Peele did very well with playing on it, because sort of the mechanism of the whole thought process in the beginning was they said that the little girl was traumatized. So it kind of left you to think that they were appealing and playing off, you know, and they, in their words, they use PTSD, and we know that black people have PTSD, long form traumas of things that happened to them. And so the little girl, of course, she ended up getting lost, separated from her parents, going into a maze where they said that you're going to find yourself, and being afraid of her own reflection, which end up kidnapping her, knocking her out, and replacing her, throwing her in the bottoms, tethering her to the bed with the rest of the doppelgangers underground in these tunnels with the voiceless of society, and then going above ground and living and starting a family this whole time. But she knew that she had done something wrong, so she knew that things were going to catch up to her. She knew that she had the secret, that she was not one of the true people that was supposed to be up there, you know, and she had started this family, but she knew that eventually, you know, her retribution was going to come one day. So that's why she was always looking for signs. And so when the 1111 started to pop up and things of that nature, she took that as a true sign. And her son as well was interesting, because if you remember that the son drew a picture, right? The son drew a picture of the little girl when they was in the bedroom, and the mother asked her, "What's this?" And the son said, "I don't know." Now, that was very interesting, because you have to ask yourself, how the hell did the son was able to draw a picture of the little girl? So I thought that was very interesting. And it was sort of telltale that the son was sort of connected to some spiritual world. He had an understanding of synchronicity, that he was able to understand the small things that other people weren't seeing and weren't noticing. He was one of the true people that understood it. And that's why his weapon was what? The crystal. You understand me? His weapon was the crystal, right? And so what are you trying to do the whole movie? You're trying to show everybody the trick, you know? But the little girl, his sister, had asked him, "Well, just tell us the trick so we know what to look out for." But the little boy couldn't tell him, right? So he couldn't show them the trick. He couldn't show them what it truly was. But he understood it intuitively somehow, which is also how he was able to draw the picture of what happened. And also why he showed his mom, he said, "Mom, look." And she looked, and it was 1111. So the little boy, they said, had trouble focusing, right? So individuals that we know have gifts and things of that nature and don't want to go by the confines and the constructs of society, they try to tell them that they should be on Ritalin, and they have ADHD, and we know that happens to young boys all the time. So while sports, you know, and if you, like you said, you seen the little girl pick up the club, you know, to fight, you know, the other girls that she ended up killing, and she was happy about that. And in real life, the girl used running and track as those things to make her parents proud, but she wasn't really tripping off that. She thought that she could do much other things. But it was interesting that their weapons were like extensions of themselves, right? Because the little boy weapon was the crystal, and that was an extension of his energy and the power that he had. And the other little girl, her weapon was the billy club, which was sports, and the father, you know, his manhood